So, hello everybody, and welcome to this week's lab on Journey to Soulful Connections. And this week we're going to be talking about embracing the roller coaster ride, which is basically just the ride that each one of us is on as we choose to live a life that is more authentically ours. I kind of don't like using that word, but it's the one that looks and feels more like who we are. And sometimes that is a ride. And that's kind of where we're at today is about that ride that we take on. So he was a skater. I'm at the bottom of the roller coaster at the moment. Oh, I hear you. And that's hey, Tom. Okay, I see your name now. Nice to see you here.
Do you know this
And
is still showing as off the record at my end?
really, it's showing recording here. Can anybody, Rain or Tom, can you see if it's being recorded or not? I've had a little bit of technical issues, so I don't know. Oh, we lost Dave. Okay, red light is saying recording. Okay, so Dave will pop back in. So I don't know, Dave. I think you're having technical issues here. I'll lock you back in. Where are you?
I'm here.
There. Oh, okay.
It's like, I went out and came back in. I think I came in through a different door. So that's
yeah, it's been and Tom's telling us that he's at the bottom of the roller coaster presently. So that's kind of I think we've all been there, and that's kind of what we're talking about today is what do these bottom of the roller coasters, what do they do to us, and how to get through them, and where they come from in our lives, and just basically what they cause, because to me and I don't know, for me it's a construction. We're building ourselves every bit of the way, and I think hitting bottom is part of the process. I'm not saying it's fun. I'm not saying it's pleasant. I'm not saying that I invite it in my life, but it's part of the process. And when it happens, it's just knowing that that's when you feel like saying, I just want to get off this ride. I don't want to drive. I don't want to be on this ride anymore. And that's where you have to commit even more to staying on the ride, because if you keep going, that's when you inevitably it's gonna bring you back up. So that's kind of like the embracing the ride comes from. So that's kind of my take on it to introduce it. So we're getting great comments already, Dave, from Tom. So yeah,
excellent.
so do you want? I want to let you hear yourself first. That's so funny. But what's your take on?
Yeah, I'm just reading the comments in the timeline. They're always good comments every time we do one of these, or every time you do one of these. It's always good comments in there. Interesting stuff that comes up.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave you to keep going, so I'm going to drop out and come back in again because I seem to be echoing to myself here.
Okay.
So it could be something atmospheric. It could be something more serious. Being a complete ladder, I don't know. But it sounds very strange to me.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
I'll be back in 1 second.
Okay, no problem. But today, that roller coaster ride. I hear you, Tom, when you're saying I want to become more emotionally stable and more resilient. And I think, personally, I think it's a quest that it's like it's a quest of being emotionally stable. I tried to have a life where the emotions weren't as high or as low, to come to the point where I can live with the roller coaster that takes place in my life a bit better. It doesn't mean it doesn't happen but I react less severely to the highs and the lows that are taking place in my life, and that I learned through nature. So if somebody wants to pop in, we have 4 seats. So this is a conversation. I don't want to be talking to myself here, and I want to talk about what it is, like what we all go through when we live a soulful life, when we really want to live a life that looks and feels like us. It is very important to recognize that we're going to be on these journeys that are going to bring us on highs and bring us on lows. And it's very easy to stay on the ride when it is high and it's going well, and it's a product of all the work that we've done. That's the easy part of the ride. But staying on the ride when we are crashing, and when we are when we're hitting those lows that you're describing, Tom, it's not easy. That's when to me, I always look at nature to understand how to face that roller coaster ride. And I always think of nature as, we live it emotionally as the highs and lows, but nature lives it as a state of being. There's the summertime, which is when there's abundance of leaves and of beauty and of growth and of everything happening. And then in the winter, there's, like I was saying at the beginning, we're at minus 30 degrees Celsius today. So it's really cold here. So, and it's windy, and like the branches are breaking off, and there's did you lock the seat, Dave?
I don't think I did.
I think you locked the seat so nobody can jump in. But there we go. I don't know what it's. Vlad's acting up today.
I've got some amazing power in my fingers because I just went to reach near the keyboard and it locked. Then you said that, I went to reach near it and it unlocked. And I got it.
Yeah. And I don't know. Vlad's acting up a lot today. So hey, Art, how are you? Andy's there, and that's what I mean. To me, I think that this ride that we're on is all part of this process that we go through. That is part of the process, and it's not something we get caught up in the emotions of it. That's my take on it. So I've been talking by myself long enough. So I'll let Dave jump in. Are you able to jump in properly, Dave, or are you?
Yeah, I'm in. I'm in, and I'm here now. I'm stuck here, okay. And I can't go in. So that's fine. I can't even get out. I can't get out to get back in. No, the thing with this that we're talking about here is the situations and the things that happen and occur to us in our lives. People don't get stuck in what happened to them. They get stuck in the significance of it. They get stuck in the significance of the event. And it is just the same as something that is important to you, that is emotionally and possibly physically important because it's something that you're stuck with, a mindset of what happened, and it affected you in so many different ways. It's become significant to you. But if you describe the event to me and you get emotional about it and you start to relive, and all these little triggers go off of what it felt like, what it sounded like, what it's, what you saw, what you smelt, what you heard, you relive it, and then you tell it to me. I then would share that experience with somebody else, and I would have none of that emotion. It's because the significance of it is relevant to you. And that's the area that we have to deal with, is the significant side of it, rather than the effect. It's what it causes within us. And a lot of the times we have to deal with cause rather than effect in our life. And when we start to control our emotions and our feelings and our way of being, not 100%, not perfectly, but we get a grip on who we are. There will always be times when, you know, the autopilot kicks in or somebody else is driving. You know, you can't physically or mentally maintain the control all the time. But when you get the handle on that, when you get a grip of your situation and the way you live and the way you think and what goes on in your mind and in your heart and how you live, then you find that you have the control. You are in the best possible position that you can be, because the moment that you ask anybody for advice or guidance or reason why you should or should not do something, you are relinquishing control of your life. Because people ask for advice because they want to use it. They don't ask for alternative options. What do you think I should do? And as soon as somebody says, what do you think I should do about this? They can't come up with an answer. They want you to give them the answer, and then they'll do it.
Yeah.
And then if it goes wrong, it's your fault. The thing is, we have to take control of everything. We have to maintain the control in everything. The moment that we can look ourselves in the eye in the mirror, we go into our bathroom, we look in the mirror, we look at ourselves and we say, you know, everything in my life is my fault. The good and the bad. All of it. Everything in our life has come from the decisions we make, the responses we give, and the answers to questions that we give. That's it. It's what we do.
Yeah.
It's how we react. And our reactions and our responsibility is the key thing to everything. And it takes us from being tied to the tracks of the roller coaster, waiting for the car to come along. And it takes us from there and puts us in the roller coaster so we can enjoy the ride, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Life is meant to be exciting.
Yes. Yes.
You
And
know,
it's what we get caught up and I find for me, what I had to go through in order to get to a place where, because the first time I heard what you just said about like everything in your life is your responsibility. It comes from you. It's your fault kind of thing. That was such a slap in my face. That was many, many years ago, but that was such a slap in my face, because that meant that, because my life at that point was a chaos. Like I was unhappy. I was not I was not in a good place. So when I started taking ownership of things, what I had to get through in order to get on a ride where I could take ownership of everything that was happening and stop with the guilt, stop with all the emotions that came up, because I was raised to, once you get told that it's all your fault, then the guilt starts happening, then the judgment starts happening, then all of that other crap started happening for me. And that's when I started to say, you know what, that's what I got to heal. And that's what I had to clear away, to stop reacting and start acting on being me. And that allowed me to get on my own tracks and stop reacting to every little, because to me, I see it as, when you're taking ownership, if I'm looking at it from the perspective of nature, when you're taking ownership, that means that you're standing in the wind. If I take the tree as an example, you're standing in the wind, and the tree can either be whipped around or stand in all that it is and just kind of flow with what's going on. And it doesn't matter how strong that wind is, the wind is only going as far as it can bend, and it's respecting its own capacity in who it is. It's not just kind of standing there and just kind of, receiving everything and just kind of being, It does. To us, it looks like that. But that tree, as it's standing there, if you've ever seen any massive storms, the trees get whipped around a lot. But the tree is not just react. It's honing in on who it is, and it's going with what's happening with it. But it's taking full ownership of everything that's taking place in and around it. And that's where, when we're on this ride, the reaction should come from being ourselves rather than the emotions that Dave was talking about in the beginning when we get caught. I don't remember how you said the cause and effect. I don't remember exactly the words that you were using, but we get caught up in how did you say it at the beginning?
What it was the cause and effect of something. We get caught up in the effect of things.
Yeah.
But if we look at the root cause of something, then it tends to dilute the effect because we see the cause as being not what we thought it was. A little bit like fear. If we see what we're afraid of as for what it is, rather than what we think it might be, or for more than it is, then we dilute the fear. We dilute the effect by seeing what the root cause of it is. And if we can eradicate that cause, then we don't have that effect anymore on us. The thing with the tree is that in every situation that we are in life, it takes the school of hard knocks to make you realize that whoever has flexibility in a situation will control that situation. And so if you're flexible enough, you can sit there watching boxing, and do you really think that people just take all of those punches? Or do they ride them? And are they flexible to make them deflect, such as a tree? What would happen if a tree just stayed rigid while the wind was blowing it?
Wouldn't be good.
But if the tree bends and lets that wind bounce off it and go somewhere else, because if it goes back, it will just come again.
Yeah.
Exactly the same as me doing this.
Yeah.
I'm punching you and you don't move. But if I punch you and you bend or you're flexible enough to be able to deflect it, I go over and I'm off somewhere else in a different direction.
Yeah.
So it's like the tree doesn't take ownership of that wind.
No.
It just lets the wind be.
Yes. But it takes ownership of who it is. Yeah.
The tree just does its own thing and does what it does best. And that is, it's flexible, so it controls the situation. If something wants to get past you, there's no point in you standing in its way. You might as well bend or shift or just move out of the way. But if it's something you have to take ownership of, you have to be there. And if it's something that you've got to deal with, you've got to be there. But roller coasters that we go through in life, life is, has its peaks and troughs, its ups and downs. And so we can get value out of it, and we can decide what we like and what we don't like. But the problem is that we have this mixed metaphor for roller coasters. When we say my life is a roller coaster, somebody else hearing that would think, wow, there must be a lot of good times, bad times, ups, downs, peaks, troughs. Wow, there's no median, there's no straight line, there's no middle ground. Who the hell wants middle ground?
Yeah.
There's nothing happening there.
No, exactly.
People say they want balance. If you look at balance, there's not a lot going on there. It's just equal weight. People want harmony in their life, and when you're in harmony with life, you can deal with this roller coaster. Strange thing is, when people go to fun fairs and they look for a roller coaster, it's classified as an attraction.
Yeah.
But people are not attracted to these roller coasters.
That's so true.
So you be attracted to. I want a roller coaster life. Wow. Can you put me through to the put me through the psychiatric unit? This guy's nuts. Why am I nuts? What is it? If you want experiences, you need the big stuff. You need the small stuff. Yeah. That's a roller coaster because it's up and down.
Yeah. Yeah. And it comes back, and then Rain, I'll just say this and then I'll come over to you. But it comes back to me, it always comes back to how people are perceiving this ride. For me, it's I'm loving the highs and the lows. Like I've learned to enjoy them. Enjoy them is not maybe the right word because I don't like it when I hit rock bottom. But it's definitely part of the ride, and it makes the ride more. It makes the ride my own, and that's how I see it. And it's but anyways, there's all these amazing comments. Sorry, I just want to say hello to some people. Eileen, there's Margarita, there's Andy, there's Nadia and Art. Hey Art, I just saw you there. It's like wow, how long you been sitting there? And Tom is still there. So thank you so much for joining in. And Rain, what's your contribution?
Well, this is what's popping into my head at this moment in time, and I think and for some reason I naturally do this in my dreams where I'm actually in them. Like I'm actually in them, but I'm also an observer, if that makes any sense. So I'm a detached observer, and the detached observer has no vested interest in whatever happens either way. They're simply observing. And I think for me, that's really helpful. And I feel like it's trying to let me know and send me a message that to bring that attitude, to this like reality, when you wake up and the alarm clock goes off. I think that's what it does, is it brings that sense of detachedness. And now there's a difference, there's varying degrees of detachedness, so, but there's always really, really valuable information, because when you can slightly detach from it, so you are attached to it, but you're slightly detached from it, you can in fact gain a perspective and learn something about yourself that you didn't know, that it's something about your humanity that you weren't aware of, that somewhere in your unconscious or whatever that you didn't know, and you can take that with you and incorporate that and look at it like, and that's how I look at, the detached me looks at the me in my dreams is with a loving, kind, compassionate air that I want to bring with me into the reality, so that, if I did what some could understand as being wrong or different or not the norm or whatever it is, that it's okay, and is there anything I need to learn from that? Or is it just fine? Is it just fine that it's a different perspective or a different way of doing things? And be able to look at all the different, because it's just information, it's just information. And there may be some really valid, excellent points that you can incorporate into things moving forward. So that's sort of my take on it. That's sort of my little take on that was bubbling up.
That's a great talent, I think, to have these dreams where you are in them, but you're also in them watching yourself. Because I got my PhD in psychology, and I was taught that in that sort of field, if you went to a psychologist with that, they would sit there listening to you and they go, disassociation, next. And you think, well, no, that's not. It's not disassociation.
You get a one-way ticket.
Disassociation actually works. It actually works. Yeah. If for phobias and addictions, it works, because hypnotic treatment for phobias and addictions that I used to do was really held no. There was no hypnosis. I mean, people are hypnotized 400 or 500 times a day on average. If they're watching TV, and then if you're watching TV and then somebody says to you, well, what do you think? You never heard their question. You've been hypnotized by something. Yeah. So you get this hypnotism all the time. But I used to get people coming to me and say, I can't get in a lift. Why not? Because I see myself getting in a lift and I'll be scratching the wall, leaving my fingernails in there, screaming, I get up and I can't do it. Right, okay. So what I want you to do is, you see that lift over there? Yeah, I want you to see yourself walking over to that lift and getting in it. You know, yeah, just see yourself walk over there. Now you've got that image. Okay, now I want you to project that onto a screen. Now in front of you is a screen, 60 foot by 30 foot. Project that onto the screen, see it, bright colours. Now see yourself getting in that lift, and they're like this, because they're still feeling the emotion of doing it. And so see yourself getting that lift, see yourself going up in that lift, and you're scratching the walls, you're jumping up and down, you're tearing your hair out, and you get out at the other end at the top of the building, you look a real mess. You see that? Yeah, right, okay. Now see yourself standing at the back of the theatre, watching yourself in the front row, watching yourself in the film, and then you just start to distance, and it is a disassociation with it. And then you get them to run it in slow motion, run it fast, speed it up, wacky music, run it backwards is the key. See yourself getting the lift on the top floor, and see as you go down, your skin starts to dry out, your hair goes all back into place, your nails go back into your fingers, you stop screaming. It's a little bit like country and western songs, you know. If you play country and western, the best way to listen to country and western, is to play the records backward, because everybody gets better and they all get rich. So this, you just rewind it backwards. What you're doing there is disassociation, I think, but it's not it. It's actually having objectivity in your dreams.
Yeah.
And seeing yourself doing this stuff, which is a rare gift that we have in our lives, is to see ourselves objectively. So many people would love to see themselves on an objective basis, and see what they do and what are the decisions they make, what they're going to do, situations they're caught up in, and to see themselves looking at themselves as if you're in control of it. Is that how it is when you see yourself like that in these dreams?
Well, there's the one that's observing, and then there's the one that's doing, and then the one that is doing is just doing whatever it is they're doing, kind of thing, right? And well, you know, and I you know, I have to. There's many different types of dreams. I have many different types of. So this is just one type that you know, that I've noticed. There's.
This could get really interesting now.
Yeah, well, that won't overwhelm you.
We're just talking about the roller coaster here.
Out of those people, who are you? Which one is you?
Yeah, well, I'm actually, you know, it's quite similar. I think this has something to do when I drowned and died. That was the first time that I can remember having that experience of being disassociated from my body. So, you know, I went to the light. It was beautiful. I wanted to stay there. It said, no, you go back. And it laughed and sent me on my way. And I came back. And I was kind of hovering. I was sort of, I guess I was in like spirit type form or whatever, in energy form. And I was looking at my body on the pier, and my grandmother was giving me mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. And I was, you know, disassociated. I was watching me, and I knew, you know, I was, you know, like dying, for lack of a better word. And there was no fear. It was like, oh, I wonder if your number's up, you know. It was pretty. I wasn't. It wasn't vested. It wasn't vested either way in what the outcome was going to be. It was simply observing, and you know, that was it, type of thing. And that's how. And that was the first. And then all of a sudden, I felt myself. Then all of a sudden, I wasn't in kind of. That was where I was completely not associated with my body, physically. And then the next thing you know, I was sort of, it felt like I was slammed into my body, and there was no, there was no hovering second energy of myself out there. And I was, you know, like throwing out water and doing all that kind of gasping for breath and all that kind of stuff. But since then, I have had, you know, I've kind of like managed to I suppose you could say, sort of like segment different types of dreams that I have. Like they're sort of in categories, and they all so. And one of them will be where it's that sensation of the disassociated part that's simply observing, has no vested interest, is not judging, is not doing anything, is simply just there, which is awesome because it lets me see it through. But in my dreams, I'm also the person that's acting out whatever it is. So somehow I'm both at once.
Yeah.
I mean, people think that a roller coaster is a near-death experience.
Yeah.
When I walk around the fairground.
I don't want to, because I want to hear, Margarita has been sitting there, and I just want to bring her perspective on it. Hey, Margarita, haven't seen her. It's great
so happy to be here.
Yeah. And it's just because this conversation is getting really rich, and I want to bring everybody's point of view in there.
Well, I can relate to Rain's story about seeing herself above. I have done that before many times, especially time when I was sleeping in my bedroom, and I found myself stuck up in the corner. It's like I was stuck up in the very corner of the room, and I looked like it's like I had two eyeballs there, and I looked down and say, where am I? And then I see the bedroom, and then I see my body there, and I wasn't scared. I just, okay, well, this is kind of interesting. So I agree with you, because it's a neutral place. It was no fear there.
No.
It nothing.
No.
And I love what you say, Magical Dave, not official Dave, Magical Dave.
Magical. Yeah, I once saw him in half.
That was very, very helpful. I mean, I'm a hypnotherapist and crystal healer also, but so we work with these techniques all the time with dreams and actually processing the fears inside. But I just came in here. I saw you, and then I came in, and I didn't really know what the topic was, but for sure, the last 4 months has been a roller coaster ride. With all the new energetic shifts, it's just changing energy. And now, okay, what am I doing for my business today? Have no idea.
Yeah.
Even
And that's
part of the plan.
Yeah, and that's part of the roller coaster ride that we're on, because as entrepreneurs, or as we go through a personal roller coaster in our emotions and what we're dealing with, and our business is going through a roller coaster of its own, and we're trying to stay afloat in all of that, and then you add the family and the spouse and the kids and it's like, wow, you want to pull your hair out sometimes. And that's where, to me, listening to you talk about those dreams where you're, and I've had them, but where I've found to be able to connect to where those two objective views of myself was with nature, because nature is extremely objective. There's no emotions involved, and it's right there. It's living physical proof that it's going through the highs and the lows. And don't forget that a roller coaster isn't always like this. It's like this. It's like, woo! There's all these twists and turns that are part of our life. And if you walk in nature, if you spend any time in nature, it's all there. It's all there, and it's living through it daily, and it's showing up, and it's always. It embraces the journey. It embraces what it has to go through to be on this journey that is part of being nature. And that's what allows nature to form these forests and these beautiful things that we are able to witness. And it's the same with us. It's
Nicole.
Yes.
We can't see you.
We can't see you.
We can't see you.
No way.
Dave's the co-host, right? Yeah, we can see
Okay,
you.
I'm gonna refresh again. I'm gonna refresh.
It was so
again.
funny. It was so funny
She's
to hear you
ghosting
say,
us.
and it goes like this.
He's watching us from above. On
Yeah. Wait, you can hear me? You can hear me?
Demonstrate this beautiful.
Yeah, it was so funny for us to try to figure out what it was that you were doing when you said it goes like this and it goes like that. We're like, I don't know what she's talking about. We couldn't see the demo. You know?
You know, and Eileen is making a really good point here. She says, frankly, it sounds like such a great break from all emotion to be in that dissociative state. And I just want to clarify, that it's not so much that it's for me, I mean, that's what it was when I drowned. It was completely a dissociative state. But since then, it's a feeling of being both. So I'm still feeling all of the emotions. I'm still feeling whatever it is I need to go through. But there's that other part of me that is also watching, that can see it and then be more objective about it and say, okay, what, you know, it's the wisdom part that is saying, what is it you're truly needing out of this situation? What is it you're trying to get to? What fear is it you're trying to address? What is the purpose of this? So I'm able to kind of be in both states somehow. And I do think meditation helps a great deal. It helps a great deal with that.
I think that's
the ability to quiet yourself enough, because when you're, roller coaster rides mean, high emotions and high ups, high downs. So I think being able to have a tool like meditation or just sitting quietly or nature, a combination of these things just gives you more things in your toolbox to be able to step back and look at the roller coaster and see what is really going on there. Because there are things that you're meant to learn, we're here to learn, there's things you're meant to learn, but there's also things that, aren't necessarily, maybe there's not necessarily anything you can do anything about, it's just there. Maybe you're just there to observe it, whatever it might be. So, it's a walk in wisdom, really,
Let's see what the...
This is Rain with her little
out of body.
And here is the rope. She's have the rope, she's going on the rope here and up in the air.
I love how you do those
she's amazing,
Margarita. I love how you do. And it's funny, I was doing this yesterday. I've gotten into these lately.
Cool.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's an adult coloring book, and it's a really cool way where you can just sort of practice not thinking. Where you can practice not thinking and just being, just doing something and just enjoying it,
Yes.
I think it's nice to be able to think sometimes that you just need to relax, because nothing is under control. And when you're confident and with that, that things are going to be okay. It will all work out. And people come to me and they want seminars about their life. At the end of it, they realise that they were fine at the beginning of it. They just didn't realise it. When they realise that they are fine, they're still fine. That's the thing. It's in our life we get hit with so many things.
Yes.
That chip away, and not every case is going to be chipping away at a block of stone to release a statue.
Yeah. No.
It's going to be chipping away. Shit, there's nothing left. I'm out of stone. I've chipped it all away. I've made nothing out of this. And it's just when you stop that and you stop this chipping away and you just go with it, and you realize that things are not in control. They can't be in control. That's okay. And so are you. And you have the control in as much as You can deal with whatever comes your way. You can deal with the high stuff. You can deal with the low stuff. And the reason that you have to deal with it. Did anybody else see that, or was that just in my head?
Rain's trying to put her phone down.
I thought that was just in my head.
Your head's ringing.
Now you're stopped calling.
Wow. Hey, well, two in every one person is schizophrenic. No,
What?
The thing is that we as humans are okay. We can deal with it, and the reason we're given this stuff to deal with is because we can. It's given to us to deal with because there are a lot of people who can't, and we just don't realize that it's our job to deal with it. It's our duty to deal with it because life is a test.
Yeah,
it's always been a test.
Yeah.
If life was meant to be a life, you would have been given a book of instructions. But no, you haven't. Yeah. It's a test. And everything that we have is a test. Going up to the top, going down to the bottom.
Yeah.
It's how we deal with it. Do we spend our life tied to that track, waiting for the roller coaster to run us over? Or do we get into the car and ride it? That's our choice.
Yeah, that's so true, and that's exactly. And Eileen, I think, is enjoying the conversation. She agreed with you, and it's so true. And that roller coaster ride, it's our choice how we're going to take this ride, and that's why for me this whole ride, no matter where it's taken me, and like everybody else, I've had really good highs and really, really low lows, and they've just I can't when people ask me, would you want to go back, I wouldn't choose to go back because I know better, but it's what's made me who I am today. I can't not be thankful for having gone through those highs and lows, because they've been part of my journey, and they've made me who I am today. And I love who I am today. I don't know if anybody else does, but I do. And that's what I opened up to that one day. But that's always how I see it. Is like at one point when I decided to take ownership of my life, like I said, the first time that I heard that, it's like I was responsible for everything that was in my life. That was like a slap across my face there, and more than a slap, because it was like, oh my God, I hate my life. Back then, I hated my life. I was not in a happy place. I was not in a good place within myself and within my life, and everything about it was just icky, and I wanted out. And when you get told you're responsible for everything that's present in your life, I just thought, well, F you for telling me that, you know. and then I started, that was many years ago, but that was what I needed to start taking ownership of my life, to empower myself into taking back the reins in my life and getting on my own tracks, and not being kind of dragged along on somebody else's roller coaster ride that I hated. I didn't want to be on that ride. And that's where the ownership started taking place. And that's when my life started feeling so much better. Doesn't mean I still don't have the roller coaster ride, but at least I'm riding my own roller coaster. I'm not riding anybody else's anymore. So that's the way I see it. And it's so Margarita is still drawing. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, she's drawing.
Yeah.
The roller coaster ride with the moose.
Yeah.
A moose.
Right on. And that moose, they plow. I don't know if anybody's ever seen a moose, but they're big, and if they run, you want to get the hell out of the way. and I think Elaine was asking, do you do transcendental?
Transcendental.
Thank you. I can say it in French, but not in English. Who I don't know who you were asking that to. I think you were asking Rain. I think Eileen, right? So, did you want to answer that, Rain?
Well, I really don't know what it is. You know, I've heard of it. I've heard that term before.
Okay.
But I haven't really looked into it or kind of done anything like that. I kind of the one that I guess the one that which I didn't know it was the one I was practicing. I sort of, when I realized that I wanted to practice something that was meditative and, you know, that had, you know, some type of movement to it, I tried taking yoga classes. Well, it was just no good, because I'm looking at everybody else's energy and what's going on in the room and how the teacher is changing and correcting somebody, and do I need to be correcting? So it was just no good. So I thought, no, this is something you just have to do on your own, type of thing. So I found somewhere on the internet, I found it, and it turns out what it actually is it's Kundalini yoga, which is the one that I've been practicing. And yeah, that's the one that I ended up practicing. And
red color shows it.
Yeah. But it's not like there's yoga, there's exercise and meditative type of yoga. The Kundalini is not, I at least the way I practice it or how I do it, and I've never really, you know, taken classes or tried to find out how is the right way to do it or anything. I just sort of, you know, I put my earbuds in and I listen to the instructions. I do the breathing exercises, and for the most part, they're all stretching. It's all stretching exercises, and it's about moving the energy from the base of your spine, which is where fear sits. It's about moving that energy up to the top of your head, which sounds, you know, like it should be fairly easy, but it's not. It takes work, you know. So that's the one that I've sort of kind of gone with, and that I, you know, enjoy. And yeah, I don't really know per se what transcendental meditation is. So
yeah, Margarita wants to.
Yeah, I was initiated in TM when I was 26. It's a very simple method, and it's very simplified from other spiritual tradition from India and Tibet and stuff like that. But you want to hear what happened to me when I did that? Because you're taught a sound, and then you're gonna, you know, repeat it over and over and over again. You're gonna sit like relax in a chair with the spine straight, and then the day after. The day after that, the teacher was very serious. You have to commit it. You can't share anything what sound are, and it's, you know, it's between the teacher and the student. But okay, so I did the sound the next day, and then I was sitting there in a chair, and then suddenly it was like, you know, and if you have a bottle with something that's a champagne bottle, it was like this. Right over my head. I had no idea what it was.
What the heck? Yeah.
I had no idea. It just came in from my root and all the way up, and it was like, wow. I had no idea what it was. I was 27 or something. And
so it was energy?
Yeah,
it was
energy.
Yeah.
It just popped. That never happened again. And then so I went back to the teacher the next week and say, yeah, I described that. And then, wow, they have never heard of that.
They're all jealous going, oh my God, she experienced it.
Yeah. I didn't be attached to it. I wasn't attached to it. And then, of course, maybe that was the instigation or the incitement to study Buddhism, which I'm practicing right now with a teacher. And so this is like early youth, like you're exploring things, and then suddenly you go on a landmine, not a bad one, a very good one, and crashes your whole energy. I mean, I was like floating. And I mean, I never really did drugs to get high or stoned or something. So anyway, so TM could work for this Kundalini thing too.
Dave, you're just nodding your head there.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, who's next?
do you practice meditation? Do you do anything like that, Dave?
Sort of. I was talking to Cherie Valentine.
We're not talking napping, though, Dave.
No, power napping. But no, I think I cheated. I looked within the soul of the person sitting next to me. No, the thing that I do is a form of ritual. It's not necessarily a meditation or a transcendental meditation kind of thing. I was talking to Cherie Valentine about it, and it was very similar to something that she did. You draw a circle on the floor in your mind, and you step into it, and you face 4 different directions: the north, south, east, and west. And in each one are the things that you're having to deal with. And so you deal with one of them, and then you step out of that circle and you embrace it, and then you step back in, bringing it into the circle. So you bring in all of the challenges and issues that you've got at the moment. You're bringing them in within your circle or comfort circle or whatever you want to call it, and you're embracing and engaging with it. And I think when you engage with something on a level like that, just as Margarita did, I think it's you really are in that moment, and I think you just automatically get affected unconditionally by it. Or some of the people that come to the seminars have fears and issues and worries and concerns, and they say, "Oh, I can't do whatever it is." It could be something. It could be like, "I can't meet new people. I'm not comfortable meeting new people." I saw so many people with this, dealing with this, what I consider the wrong way. They would take the fear away completely, which is wrong to me. And if you're on the, as we say, the roller coaster of life, if this happens to you at one point in your life, when you get to a low point in your life, you're missing certain resources that you need. And so they would say, I have difficulty meeting people, talking to strangers. I can't walk into a room of people. I can't approach, a man or a woman that I don't know and speak to them. Wow. What happens? Well, I get this tightness, this feeling. Where do you get the feeling? This is how where do you get the feeling in your body? Well, it's here. Right. Okay. It's there. Yeah. It's here. And what happens then? Does it stay there? No. It sort of does this. It goes. So what they're doing is they're showing me how it goes, how to get rid of it. If I wanted to get rid of it, because that's how they get rid of it. But then what we do is say, look, this is here, is it? Yeah. And if I said to you, you're going to go out there and talk to somebody you've never met before, or you're talking to me and you've never met me, have you got that? You're standing in front of 300 people, have you got that feeling? No. They go, yeah. And all I do is reach in and bring it out and say, right, here it is. Now, this energy that you've got here, you see it? They go, yeah. And they're staring at you, yeah. Right, okay. In here are things that you're going to need. And if you want to delete something on your computer or your laptop, you can't just delete it because it'll affect other programs. There's a way of deleting these things. So what's in here? You've got fear. Now, fear is a good thing. If you've got no fear, then you just don't care. Just go up on a 4-story building and jump off. You won't hurt yourself. Fine. You want to do that, but you should have a fear of heights. It's dangerous. So what is in here? And there will be things that affect other emotions. Because once a fear or something is taken away, and once a phobia is taken away completely in a shortcut, people switch off other emotions in their life, so they can't handle other situations. So when they're up here, they've been put into a state of, I've taken the stuff that I don't need away, but when they get down to where they need it, they haven't got it anymore. But it's been taken away because something else has been removed.
Yeah.
So you're just left with the bits that they want. You put them back, you take them out, and you put that one back. And now I've got this. Now there's a big hole in you because we've taken this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bounce this a couple of times, and I'm going to fly it through that basketball hoop over there. And every time it goes through that basketball hoop over there, it's going to generate excitement. It's going to change colour. What colour is it at the moment? They go red. It's always red. What colour is it? Red. Right, okay. Got it. What colour is it now? Well, it's like red, orange. Right, okay. Right, got it again. What colour is it now? It's blue. Do you like blue? Yeah, blue's a good colour, isn't it? It's calming colour. Yeah, right. Put it back in their body. How do you feel? They go, wow.
Yeah.
Right, go out in the foyer and talk to some people. And they go out. And that's it. If you take something away completely, it's not there anymore. And it leaves a void which we as human beings will fill with all manner of crap and rubbish that we don't need.
Yeah.
And if it's done when you're up here on the roller coaster, when you come hurtling down here, you think, oh no, I'm going to need.
Yeah.
Where is it?
I needed that.
I haven't got it anymore.
So it's like transforming the energy.
It's taking it into something that's useful. And the issue is that if you take that, if you say, right, the problem is that hand. Now, what they do in psychology and psychoanalysis is they take the hand away. They don't mean they'll take your hand away, but that is your problem. They'll take the whole hand. Yet, you need this when you're low, when you're down. You need this one when you're playful and you're friendly. And you need that one when you're with the person that you love and you're connecting with them. So really, the only two problems are these two on their hand, but they take the lot. They take the lot. And when you need them, you think, where are they? And you go, what? I need that resource. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't got it because they took it away from me. No, you need it. You just need to know how to use it.
Yeah. And I always use the image of if you have a sword and you're using it and you're hurting yourself with it, you don't want to get rid of the entire thing. You want to learn how to use that sword so that you can bring it on your adventures and defend yourself with it, feed yourself with it. There's so much more you can do with it when you learn to use it in a way that's more constructive than destructive. And that's where that roller coaster ride becomes, is like when we feel we've lost control of something that is ours, then we think, oh my God. And the first thing that we hit on is we take that sword and we start hitting ourselves with it, rather than say, you know what, I'm going to take that sword and turn it to serve me, to help me move forward and to protect me and to feed me and to, you know what I mean? And that's where when we get onto these roller coaster rides, especially like we're our own worst enemy. Like we like nobody can do the damage to us better than we can do to ourselves. And that's what this whole roller coaster thing is all about, is like learning to master that sword that can damage us, hurt us, or take ownership of it and learn to really handle it in a way that can help us and guide us. Because if you have a sword and you can wield it properly, you're taking ownership of your life, and you're going on this road that's much more that is an adventure. That is a constructive adventure rather than a destructive adventure where you're hitting yourself with the damn thing and you're hurting yourself in the process. But that's
can I tell you a story with it's similar to that, and it's like I've lived in Canada for 20 years or so, and then in Sweden where I'm born, they have a different kind of potato peelers. And we used to be these potato peelers. And then I said to my sister, oh, I don't have a potato peeler. I just use a knife. Well, and then she went to buy me one of those potato peelers. And then I stuffed it in the bag. And then I brought my hand down in the bag and I got slashed open my whole hand and the blood everywhere.
Ow.
But it's like you say with the using a sword. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. And that's what happens on these roller coaster rides that are ours in this journey to living a soulful life. Because I'm looking at the time, we're gonna have to wrap this up.
You're already over.
Every week, it's like it's inevitable.
If you're stuck to 1 hour, I think there was something wrong. Yeah.
It's like it's
my fault. Okay, I agree.
Yeah.
No, the thing with the sword also is that when you have conflict with somebody, so many people get caught up in holding a grudge, and they get caught up with beating themselves up for a situation that was nothing at all to do with them because this person created it, and they never let go.
Yeah.
But the thing is that people have to realize that whatever manner of vengeance or mayhem you create for that person in your mind over and over again, and you get caught up in that, is going to be totally eclipsed by the catastrophes that they will put themselves into as they go along in their life. So you best just let them go. Yeah. And this sort of hitting ourselves and beating ourselves up for what we should do, what we shouldn't do. We shouldn't have said this. We should have done it. We should have said that. We shouldn't have gone. We should have. You're shoulding all over yourself. Is basically what you're doing. It's just part of that.
Yeah.
That's all it is. If your life was like that, how boring would that be?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. The thing is, when you're down here, you've got that to look forward to.
Yeah.
Just don't get in the mindset, well, I'm up here. It's going to hit the fan any second, and I'm going to. The thing is, you know how to deal with it. You can always put the brakes on and sit there. So.
Well, yeah, but that's
and knowing we're gonna have them, no matter what, we're gonna have them.
Yeah, they're part of it.
We're here.
Go up. As long as you keep moving, you go up.
If you stop having them, you're not living, and it's I think that's part of somebody's journey in living a soulful life. It was living. For me, it's like I wish there was a better word, but just this capacity to live our lives in our to our image, in our integrity of who we are. I think that's what we're meant to do, and that means that we're gonna go through this roller coaster and ups and downs and swerves and swirls and it's all fun and games, and then somebody loses an eye. No.
You guys are funny.
but it's
somebody pulls out the potato peeler.
I'm telling you, I had scars after the potato peeler with I don't know how I did it.
Oh my God! So you're meant to use Canadian potato peelers.
Well,
I can just imagine all these people wondering why this.
Carefully trained to hold the handle and not the knife part of it.
I can just imagine why people are wondering. This program, cooking with Margarita. Does it come with an X rating or something? What is it?
That's so funny, but that's definitely, and it's, I don't know, that's, to me anyways, that's what the roller coaster is. It's like it's such a journey. Like I say, it's not something that I like I'm overjoyed about when I hit rock bottom, or when I go through all the ups are great, but it's like, and I enjoy the ups, and that's kind of what I've learned with my years of wisdom. I've learned to enjoy the ups rather than dread, oh my God, okay, after that it's all downhill from there. It's about enjoying when it is going great, and then when it goes down, know that it's not going to stay there either. And that's where I think that's where our journey takes us in this place of integrity, and living our lives with integrity, no matter which facet of our lives it shows up in. And it always, I find, I don't know, maybe you guys can chime in, but I find when my ride starts going downhill, it usually happens in that part of my life, in that part of my life, in that part of my life. It's like, and then chaos, like when you say shit hits the fan, it's like, it just kind of affects, it affects almost all the facets of my life, because everything's got to go in that same direction. And then it all comes back up again. But it seems that when it goes downhill, you have this one facet that's going well, but then this one, and then something's got to give. You can't be going up in one facet of your life and going down in the other one. Am I wrong, or?
Well, I have a comment on that.
Sure, go.
From a roller coaster ride to a ski, you ski down and then you go up on the other hill, and you're going to race down very fast, because then you have momentum to go up the other hill.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It's different. For me, I guess it's different. I mean, everything is so interspersed. It's really interspersed. There's so many beautiful moments of, like knowing and introspection, and, just wisdom and insight. And, something else that's not so great will be mixed in somewhere with that. And so it's really kind of a mixed bag. And I just sort of take it that, that's the way it's going to be, that's the way it's supposed to be, or whatever it is. And it just an attitude of accepting that it's okay, that's fine. And that things can transform, and, everything's temporary. That's the thing, is everything is temporary. And I think knowing that everything is temporary, I don't get to, it's like, oh, okay, that's different. All right, I see. And then, but accepting and acknowledging things that are, beautiful, that are happening, it doesn't, if something's not going so great, it doesn't take away from the beauty of that. It doesn't take away from me being able to enjoy that and love that and appreciate that, and, have gratitude for that. Because I think that's the tough thing, is when the roller coaster ride kind of, when it goes down, then, you're just sort of all encapsulated with that. That's like, oh, and I think it's, just, I've learned that over time, that it's just important to always be, grateful, not just don't focus on all that. The more you focus on it, the bigger the problem it seems like. So don't focus all on that, because there's many, many gifts that we're given every single day, and appreciate them, and, and see the beauty in those things, because there will be something beautiful to see in whatever you perceive as being bad. There will be something beautiful to see in that at a later time. You may not be able to see it right then, but you'll see it in time, knowing that you'll see it in time. And being okay with that, because you're not expected to have all the answers. None of us have all the answers. We just don't. You know,
that's so true.
Together we can we can come to, we can see more perspectives, we can get better understandings, we can, I find that is really, really rich and really, just helpful for tons of reasons.
Yeah.
And not the least of which, knowing that you're not alone, lots of other people are feeling that way, right?
Yeah, that's true, eh? But it's but I'm really now I want to be respectful of your time. That's all. I'm all good at passing, going over time, but but I think what Tom was saying, he was a skater, was saying it, Margarita. I think he was commenting about when you were talking about the ski hill.
Yeah.
The snowball effect happens with the negative cycle type thinking, and it's true. I think you're right. It kind of drags you definitely in that snowball effect of when you start getting into, and it comes back to what Rain was saying. It's like being able to take the positive and live positive and know that, well, there's some negatives happening on the side, and it's part of the ride. It's part of the thing. So
Wayne is right. I think apart we're smart, but together we're brilliant.
I love that. Yeah.
The thing with the snowball effect, is I mean, I've said it a couple of times, I think, on other blabs, but ships don't sink because of the water around them. They sink because of the water that gets in them. And as soon as this comes in, you let this in, and you will let it in. But if you don't see it for what it is, and you don't get rid of it, it will drag you down, and you'll sink.
Yeah.
So that negativity is a difficult thing to handle. But when you see it for what it is, what doesn't serve you doesn't deserve you. That's something you should always remember.
Yeah, and always remember that if the ship has some leaks in it, you can always find a patch somewhere, and then you can find whatever you need to empty the ship back out and make it float again. So
the waiter down there with a potato peeler, that'll do.
You're in the kitchen, Margarita. You're in the kitchen.
But I use it to peel things now with.
Not your hand.
You
See, I have your hands right now.
We're gonna ask to see your hands, Margarita, every time we see you on a blab now. It's like, how are your hands being peeled away? But on that, well, if anybody's got a last word that you want to add into the roller coaster ride, and then we'll wrap this up. But if not, we can close it out now. Or does anybody have a last minute thing?
Yeah, I'm really grateful that you have brought the topic up, because it's a really good topic, Nicole. And maybe we should do, or you should do a series of these, because it's a very good topic.
Oh, wow. Thanks. It's such a...
1 week you do the bomb.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's yeah. I might stay on this one for a little while.
You could do the speed of it. Was it worth the money? That sort of thing. That kind of stuff. Your investment in it, was it worth it?
That's yeah. I'll definitely. That might be, because I didn't know what my next blab was going to be about, so I might stay on this topic for the next because I've been really busy working. It's like and then all of a sudden these blabs kind of show up, and it's like, oh, I have to think of a topic, and it's because my book is coming along great, so it's yeah. So that's been kind of occupying a lot of real estate. So in my head, so that, and real estate in time too. It's in my life. So I've been kind of, but I might stay on that roller coaster ride a little bit, and just because people, I find that people have a hard time speaking of what we go through in our journey as doesn't matter whether it's in because our lives are part of our business, our part, you know what I mean? And people have a hard time admitting that we're all on these rides, and kind of like Dave was saying, together, alone we're good, but together we're brilliant. And I think that's when we start realizing that we're all on these roller coaster rides. If we start paying attention to our own ride, then we can add so much to what's going on, and contribute our brilliance into whatever this park is. Or to me, it's always a forest or nature. It's always a nature involvement thing. So I think it's about owning where we're at in our own roller coaster ride, and contributing it in whatever, doesn't matter where it's at, because that I've put pictures of fallen down trees full of mushrooms that are dead, and those were the most liked pictures, and that always blows my mind. And it's true. You put pictures of dead nature, and in theory, it's at the bottom of the roller coaster ride if you look at it in that sense, and that's what the people love the most. And then you put a picture of something growing, and you have a few likes.
I think, well, you know, and maybe intrinsically people appreciate it more, Nicole, because they realize, I mean, that's just, it's a cycle. And that tree grew and gave life and lived and, you know, did everything. And even in death, it is still living. It is still giving life, even in its death. Yeah. So it's still part of the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you can enjoy a movie by somebody who's been dead for many years. You can read a book by somebody who died, and it's still changing your life, and it's still making you think, and it's still making you appreciate your life, being alive. Yeah. You know, that's the one. That is the sort of fundamental factors of, I think, roller coasters themselves. Is that there is an excitement. 3 parts, I suppose, would be that first is when in a roller coaster, when they're designed, they got to put you in a high state of excitement. So you're excited by the ride that you're on, and then the second is probably that you're fascinated by it, that you want to do it again because it made you feel so. You want, when you're at the bottom, to be back up that top again and get that feel again. So that there's that, but there is always the element of safety. I think the element of safety, that nothing is under control. So if nothing is under control and the future is uncertain, as we said before when we were talking about uncertainty, if things are uncertain, then there is no fixed plan, which means it's up to you what you get out of it. You're not guaranteed a good or bad. You get the result that you want. When the future is uncertain, it means you can write any future you want for yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
Very good.
Very good. So on that, did you see we're getting, Tom, thank you so much for your comments, and hopefully it is helping you to find your answers, and definitely because he came in. I don't know if you were there, Margarita, when he came in at the beginning of the show and said he was at a low right now. So at least hopefully this will help you and get going on your journey, and trust that whatever you're going through at the moment, Tom, it's just a part of the journey. Yeah, keep going.
Keep going.
If you stop now, it's just gonna degenerate and be like decay into something that's not gonna be you. So even if it decays, it's gonna come out of it. It's part of the process of, even in nature. There's death, decay, degeneration, and then fertilization, and then there's rebirth. So just trust that that's part of the process that you're going through. So hopefully this helped you. And on that, I'll wish all of you a great week. And I'll go back to being on my day off. Here in Ontario, it's family day, so I should be taking a day with my family, but I'd forgotten about it when I came.
You are.
I am my online family. I'm with my online family, and it's so that's been a great conversation, and I might stay on this ride for a few weeks. I don't know. Maybe we should talk about that, Dave. I don't know if, because you keep saying it's my blab. It's mine, but you're my co-host, and I'm promoting it as Nicole and talking with Dave. So.
Yeah, I think we should. I think we've covered the aspects of what the roller coaster is. I think so many people just accept the good things in life and the good situations and the happiness, but they try to figure out how to deal with the bad. And really, you should be figuring out how to deal with the happiness as well. You get people who spend so much time, effort, and money on a wedding, but have no idea how to stay married.
Yeah.
So many people who spend so much time going for interview and looking good to get a job, but have no idea how to keep it. And so many people, who spend time and effort and money on a 1 or 2 week vacation, but have no idea how to live a fulfilled life for the other 50 weeks of the year. And it's where our focus is. Nobody ever says, where did it all go right?
Yeah.
They always say, where did it all go wrong? It's our focus is to discover what it truly makes us feel that we are up there, and how we deal with where we are down there. Do we let Margarita on with a potato peeler? And who the hell is paying for all this at the end of the ride? So that I think are the 4 elements that we should discuss.
Watch out! I have a potato peeler.
I don't want to worry you, but that's where you're going wrong. That is a pen that you've got in your hand. That's where it's all going wrong. Why have I got
it is a pen. I model it anyway.
That's so funny. That's so funny. So, okay, so I'm going to stop the recording now, and then we can